Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Boxer Paulie Malignaggi rips cheap Conor McGregor. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the notification gang, hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, the channel donation, and the Patreon patrons. We're definitely working. Now, link is in the description, and check it soon. I don't know if it's the official company that conducted the interview. I actually don't even know what network did it, but I just watched it on YouTube, and I'm surprised. I haven't heard anyone talking about this, so leave it to the kid Ego to fill you guys in. But the link is in the description in case you want to watch it. It's an interview, an exclusive interview with Paulie Malignaggi, some kind of talk show, and he's documenting basically what happened in camp. He's not giving all the details, like in terms of strategy, but he's talking about what created the disconnect and why he left, more importantly. He said some interesting things there. So if you guys check it out, it's in the description. Come back to the video, drop me a comment, and let me know what you think. I'm gonna paraphrase. I'm not gonna read it verbatim or anything, but Paulie Malignaggi from this interview, he says, my problem with Conor is his arrogance. He's very cheap, right? Regarding the arrogance, he says he's not all the way there as like a pro boxer, but he has a method to what he wants to do. But the problem is what Paulie is saying is what's hindering Conor McGregor's absolute progress is the fact that he doesn't want anyone to help him. He doesn't want anybody to give him any pointers or instructions. He just kind of wants to do it his own way. And I mean, that's a hard way to grow, especially a guy like Paulie Malignaggi. I mean, if what he's saying is true, and I'm just going off what he's saying, but Paulie has way more boxing only experience, not fight experience, not who would win in the octagon or no crazy stuff y'all be saying in the comment section. But Paulie is boxed all his life. I can think of a ton of fighters from Brooklyn, you know what I mean, the Brooklyn area, Luis Collazo, Cannon Briggs, even people like Miguel Cotto migrated, and that's the one Paulie Malignaggi shared the ring with. He migrated to New York and things like that. So Paulie's just been in the game, you know what I mean, fought the Amir Khans, the Sean Porters, and different people at different points of his career and their career, Ricky Hatton. So he definitely has a lot of experience. So it would behoove Conor McGregor to probably get him in the camp and pick his brain. But from what Paulie's saying, it sounds like he's not really willing to do that. And it sounds like, and this is what I told you guys in the past video when I was talking about these two, but it sounded like Conor McGregor didn't like what Paulie had to say about him, and he was using this as basically a setup, a way to get him in camp, you know what I mean, just pay, even though he was supposed to pay him and stuff, but get him in camp just so they can fight and make him live up to what he was saying or eat his words or something like that. And the real reason, I think it was the New York press conference, they were backstage with Conor McGregor and they were asking him about Paulie Malignaggi, and he was basically saying like, yeah, he had a lot to say, so he'll have an opportunity to prove it. But the way he said it, I'm just paraphrasing what he was saying, but the way he had said it sounded like it was on some retaliation shit. And I think Paulie Malignaggi realizes that now, that it was probably a setup, and he just wanted a big name boxer, you know what I mean, a guy with the name, and he wanted to try to make an example out of you, or he didn't like, because Paulie at the time, when it was first reported that Conor McGregor might fight Floyd, or he was getting his boxing license and applying for it and stuff, Paulie said something to the effect that I'll slap the beard off him. So it's been bad blood ever since. But what Paulie's saying in this interview is he's talked shit to a lot of people, and when they don't end up fighting, they can later become cool. He says, like, just Conor's age being almost 30, 29 years old, he would assume that he would be more mature than that. Like, okay, we had the opportunity to fight, it didn't pan out, now I'm in camp to help you. But he says instead, Conor McGregor was he brought him into camp for retaliation reasons and try to make an example and embarrass him with pictures and stuff like that. That's what it kind of sounds like. And I mean, I feel Paulie on that, because if you're not fighting the person, then it doesn't really matter. Paulie's retired, so it's not like you guys he's going to come out of retirement. His last fight was a stoppage loss. He retired. You know what I mean? So if you're going to have him in camp, like I said, for me, I think it would make more sense to, instead of holding a grudge against him because he wanted to get a crack at you, like Mikey Garcia and a ton of boxers were calling out Conor McGregor. They'll say, I'll fight him. Canelo, Oscar De La Hoya wanted to try to work something out. So instead of holding a grudge and being petty about it, you might as well pick his brain and be a sponge and soak up everything with your arsenal of what Conor's a good fighter. So with what he already does well, you know what I mean, use this opportunity. But it didn't play out like that. And Paulie Malignaggi, he ended up leaving camp. Now, another thing Paulie said was Conor is extremely cheap. He says he didn't go in there expecting any exclusives or to expect any type of special treatment. He says, I didn't even negotiate my price. The price that they offered me the gig for, to spar for, I just took it because I wanted to be a part of history and be a part of a $100 million fight to see what it would be like. You know what I mean? A fight of this magnitude. Obviously, people are saying it's a money grab. We know this fight will make money. And Paulie Malignaggi was basically saying, I didn't ask for special treatment, but he says, I've been a part of fight camps and similar situations in boxing that weren't as big as this, but they were big enough where the main event or the people he had to be helping or part of camp with, they were getting $1 million a piece or whatnot. And he said he got treated way better in those camps, not the pictures and all that, but in terms of like per diem and the housing situation and stuff like that. He goes on in this interview, you got to watch him, but he's basically saying Conor McGregor doesn't really treat his sparring partners, the people that are supposed to help him, he doesn't really treat them great, and he's extremely cheap. He said, but he had the wherewithal to rent a Lamborghini while he's in town, so he can splurge on the Lambo, but he's not really taking care of his people. So I don't know. I'm just going off of what Paulie Malignaggi says. I can't say if Conor is cheap. He looks like he lives a pretty lavish lifestyle when it comes to himself, maybe his girl and his family, but I don't really know. So I'm just going off what Paulie Malignaggi said, but that is kind of messed up. And I don't know, maybe the MMA world is different than the boxing world, the cultures. So I don't know. I just know in the boxing, you take care of your people. Like I've seen and I know people that are a part of big camps, like people who were in part of Danny Jacobs' camp for Gennady Golovkin or Andre Ward's camp for Kovalev. You know what I mean? And they get taken care of in multiple ways. Compensation, you know what I mean? Just whatever they need, you know what I mean, to feel at home. And that's how it's supposed to be. And the guys, there's like a brotherhood there, you know what I mean? But from what Paulie's saying, it doesn't sound like that's how Conor runs things. And then he was also talking about the pictures. He says, I knew he was going to leak pictures that were probably favorable to him. But he said the thing he didn't like, where he had to kind of draw a line, is because only Conor McGregor's photographers are allowed to be in there and to be recording. So the Mac Life team for his website and just his personal friends or whatever, people he's hired on. And he says that where he had to draw a line in the sand was basically when he's trying to falsify things. He says him and I both know that he didn't knock me down, but they just threw that out there, that picture out there with no explanation to make it look bad. And I agree with Paulie that if that's what actually happened, then that is shady, because now you leave people to speculate, and then all the pictures look like Paulie's getting tore out the frame, and you release 3 or 4 pictures like that, and then you post him on the ground, so you're like, oh damn, Conor's destroying him, you know what I mean? And you put that out there because you want that to be the perception. But according to Paulie, he said that's not what it was. He said by the second sparring, he was basically chewing Conor McGregor, and that's why he doesn't want to release the tapes and stuff like that, because he knows it was a push down and that's not what happened. But he says, Paulie said something to the effect of he believes Conor McGregor is doing too much. He's trying too hard to sell the fight. He's trying to, like, you're going out of your way to make it look like you were, you know what I mean, Bruce Lee in there and doing stuff that you weren't really doing. So that basically sounds like the reason he left is because he didn't like how things were being handled. And he said the living quarters or the living situation wasn't the greatest. He hasn't been paid. So I think that's why he's kind of avoided the non-disclosure. But you got to check it out. It's a very good short interview. It's under 7 minutes or so. Paulie Malignaggi spilling the beans. And another reason why I think Paulie is keeping it a buck here, this is just my opinion, and I know there's a lot of I almost will be glad when this fight is over, because I notice there's people who I know they don't watch boxing like that, and the only reason they're here is for the reason of there's a MMA fighter in a boxing event. You know what I'm saying? I could see it in the username, and I could tell by the Conor McGregor pictures and stuff like that. I'll be glad when this fight's over, to be honest, because just like Mayweather Pacquiao, it calms down all the casuals and the radical shit. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are, oh, you're just saying that, you're just saying that, you're just agreeing with Paulie, you're biased. I'm going to explain to you. See, I don't just create problems, I tell you solutions. I'm going to tell you why I personally believe Paulie with a lot of what he's saying. And I explain shit. I don't just say it. I don't just get on here, hit record, and start bumping my gums. I'm going to explain to you. So the reason why I think Paulie is correct, as far as it being cheap, I don't know or really care, because that doesn't affect me. But in terms of the integrity and the sparring stuff and the push down, knockdown situation, the reason I believe Paulie is because even though he's saying, even though I don't really like this dude, I'm still going to have some integrity. And he says, I told Floyd, he also revealed that he talked to Floyd before and told him, he says he's friends with Floyd, and he talked to Floyd beforehand and told him he was going to help Conor McGregor. And he said, Floyd's like, I understand, business is business. He says, I've helped and had people in my camp that were preparing to fight you. I don't know if he was talking about Zab Judah, because Paulie and Zab Judah fought. I don't know if the dates match up, but he said, I understand, business is business, so I'm not, you know what I mean, I ain't mad at you. Got nothing but love for you. Do you think, boy? Nah, so he sounded like he gave him his blessing, like, handle your business, go, you know what I mean, take care of that. And he also, the reason I believe Paulie is because when he's telling you all of this, he's saying that on fight night, I could get into the particulars, because at that point it's too late. Training camps are over. The fighters in their locker room getting hands wrapped. So what he says on the night of the fight, it's not really giving away a game plan. You only have a certain amount of time to prepare if it's fight night anyway. You know what I mean? The weigh-in and all that is already done. And Paulie is still showing a level of integrity by saying that, by saying, you know what, I'm not going to give away his game plan because I don't want to lessen the fight, and like I don't want to take away from the fight and make it look like it's not on fair terms. It kind of reminds me, puts me in the mindset of Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev, when they said Kovalev's trainer John David Jackson wanted to join camps with Andre Ward and he was no longer happy, and then Virgil Hunter and Andre Ward made a team decision to not allow that because they were confident they could beat Kovalev, and they didn't want any excuses, which people still made with this whole low blow Tony Week shit. But they didn't want that to be an excuse, like, oh, Kovalev's trainer came and he started giving away trade secrets and this is why Kovalev lost. They didn't want that. Plus they figured, like, damn, if he's this disgruntled, you know what I mean, who knows? We don't want that in our camp, because I've been to Virgil Hunter's gym, great gym. They're very in unison. You know what I mean? They don't just, it's a private gym. They don't really just have a bunch of media and cameras, so they know what they got going on. And that's what it kind of reminds me of here. You know what I mean? And they, just like Virgil Hunter and Ward, they didn't want to take on Kovalev's baggage, and John David Jackson, Paulie Malignaggi is still showing integrity by saying that, like, you know what, I'm not going to give away the game plan. I'm not going to call Floyd and start blabbermouthing what Conor was doing, vulnerabilities, because I don't want to take away from the integrity of this fight. So to me, there's some integrity being showed versus like the Conor McGregor. It's a picture of him on the ground, but it's unexplained. And a lot of people are making excuses, but explain this to me. This is what doesn't make sense. I understand you don't do what Paulie said to do, which is release all 12 rounds of your sparring with him, even though it's only one sparring partner. But I can understand from a game plan and a strategy point of view why you wouldn't do that, because that's like 12 rounds of data that Mayweather, his team, can inspect and try to pick things out from. But if you really knocked him down and it wasn't a push down like Paulie is saying, and you really just connected with the bow, straight left, he goes down, you can release that 10-15 seconds. I don't know if you guys watch boxing, but a knockdown happens in less than 15 seconds usually. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's a succession of punches and they finally go down. But more often than not, knockdowns don't really take too long for that. Like Lomachenko, bout yesterday. He hit Malignaggi and he fell back. You know what I'm saying? Caught him out of position, equilibrium off, bow, flash knockdown. You know what I'm saying? So Conor McGregor's team, if they knew they weren't selling wolf tickets, they could easily release that. I'm not saying release all 12, even though I want to see all 12 rounds of sparring, but they could at least release a 10-15 second, a GIF even. It doesn't have to have sound. You could see from a GIF if someone's getting pushed down or if somebody is getting punched down. You know what I mean? And the technology is very easy. You can make a GIF, which is not even technically a video. It's kind of like a slideshow or whatever. You know what I mean? And you could release that. But since Team McGregor still hasn't even done that, but they're releasing all these single pictures. A picture is cool, but it's not the same as a motion video. You know what I mean? Like anything I could take a picture of someone tripping and falling or on the ground to tie their shoe and say something else happened. Say they got hit by a car and that's why they're on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like a picture, you can't really always tell what's happening, especially in the sparring match. People's legs get caught up and they trip and fall, flash knockdowns. Different referee, they could have tripped on the ref. You know what I mean? You don't really know. So that's why I believe Paulie here, because I think he's still showing integrity. And if he didn't, he could just easily start, oh, Conor's this and this. He said little stuff because he said, I don't care because I'm voiding the non-disclosure because I ain't been paid. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.